Brother Lamar Cole, First Vice DR, my friend, my little brother. Thank you for allowing me to serve. Mel Rand Leach, thanks for just being persistent, bro. Thea, you know I don't need to say your name, but thank you. My beautiful family, my Lady Kelly, beautiful daughter Olivia, sister Dottie, my sons Nell and my good friends Calvin and Will. Thank you, brother. Tonight, I'd like to dedicate this award to my hero. And see, my hero, he was my fraternity brother, my friend, and my son, Devin. See, my hero, he had a knack of finding the good in people, bringing out the best in them. And when Brother Conrad had called me last Friday, I thought he was calling me about my ad for the souvenir booklet. And I answered the phone, and Conrad told me that, asked me would I accept this award. Well, I hesitated, and he asked me was it okay. I told him I was having a moment. A chill that came over my body because I instantly thought about my hero. See, my hero, he came unlike his brother. His brother was born when we were on the yard, and he had the opportunity to see the bros. And me and my sons and them, they were babysitting while I was going, me and his mom would be in class, and he would see us, what young bros call today, being out. But my hero, when he came around, he had to go to leadership conferences and district meetings. He would sneak down in the basement and peek his big head around the corner and look at us having MSP. I would come upstairs and he'd say, "Dad, why they gotta learn them poems? Why they gotta learn them songs?" So I try to explain to a 6 or 7 year old. I look up and those poems in his room. So as he got older, he was graduating from high school, and we were trying to decide what college he was going to go to. See, his big brother, he was adamant about him going to Morehouse. He had convinced me. But my hero, he chose Kent State. So when he got to Kent, he had been there exactly a year, and he called me about 1 a.m. And everybody know that I go to bed at 8 o'clock. So when I saw that his phone number on my phone at 1 a.m, I instantly went in daddy mode and got to worrying. So when I answered the phone, "You okay?" And my hero said, "Dad, I'm ready to do it." So I said, "Wait a minute, are you okay?" He said, "Dad, I'm okay. I'm ready to do it." I said, "Well, the only thing you ready to do is get off my phone." So he said, "No, Dad, I'm ready to pledge." I said, "Well, you know what it takes." He said, "Dad, my hours transferred in from high school. I got the hours and I have the GPA." I said, "Well, it takes money too." "Well, Dad, you got that." So I told him I'd call him in the morning. And that morning, he didn't wait for me to call him, he called me back. "Dad, you gonna make it happen?" I said, "Well, give me an opportunity to make some calls because there's no bros on the yard. We're down to bring the chapter back." So I called the DR, and I called Lamar and Thea and Mel Rand, and I told them about our conversation. So they said, "Well, let's get busy." He made line with his Sands, his line brother. And I remember coming to a session. And I walked in, and his eyes was, his brother flew in, and see his brother had pledged that Theta, and they say it's no place greater down at Jacksonville State. And he flew up and we went to see him. And we walked in, his eyes instantly watered. Well, I have to confess, mine started tearing as well. And after the session was over, I went over to shake his hand and to give him some uplift. And I told him, it's almost over. Not gonna steal your thunder, but it's almost over. So when I shook his hand, he pulled me to him and he hugged me like he never hugged me before. And so I told him how proud I was of him and to hang in there. So when he lifted his head off my shoulder, his face was full of tears. And all I could do at that point just be a parent. I just had to grab his head and start kissing him all on the side of his face and his head and tell him how much I love him. And I tell him, I love you, son. And he said, I know, Dad. I said, I'm proud of you, son. He said, I know, Dad. I said, just hang in there. It's almost over. Okay, Dad. So about a week or so later, Brother Rufus Hurd, former DR, he was on the founding line in Psi Gamma chapter. He read him in. And while we were going through the ceremony, Brother Fuss got emotional, as well as I. And when we took him over, I told my hero what was told to me by Judge Adrian when he took us over. I said, now it's time to work. My hero said, I know, Dad, but I'm about to have some fun first. So before we left the frat house that evening, my hero pulled me to the side. He said, Dad, can you make it happen for Tyler, George, and little Mel? And I said, son, every friend don't make a good brother. He said, Dad, little Mel don't have a choice. He said, Tyler, George, trust me when I tell you, they're gonna be good leaders. I said, well, if they do what they're supposed to do, we're gonna make it happen. The next semester, Tyler made it. But Tyler was by himself, and it worked. So I would call my hero and check on him. And he said, Dad, it's gonna be okay. He's my friend. I'm gonna make sure he see it through. That following semester, George and little Mel made it on. When George made it, I would call my hero and check on him. And I knew George was tough as nails. But I said, sometimes that mind plays tricks on you. My hero said, Dad, don't worry. I'm gonna help you see it through. My hero brought the best out of people. Tyler and George ended up being undergraduate boss lives of the year. See, my hero left me physically about 11 months ago. But he's with me every day, every hour, every second. And I have to say, I understand today that it wasn't a coincidence. You know, my mama would say everything's for a reason. And if you sit there long enough, you can find something positive in every negative situation. And I understand today that it wasn't a coincidence that my hero met his best friend on the Little League football field like I did. It wasn't a coincidence that my hero became a basketball and football official like I am. It wasn't It wasn't a coincidence that my hero chose Kent State like I did. It wasn't a coincidence that my hero chose the pledge Omega Psi Phi and held every position and won every award that I did. It wasn't a coincidence. See, when we think they're not listening, they heard it. When we think they're not looking, they see it. So, brothers, I challenge you. I challenge you to be the best fathers you can be. I challenge you to be the best role models and mentors you can be. I challenge you to be the best friends you can be, so you can be the great men that our founders set for us to be. Thank you.